you've got good experience as a player of a final day battle for fourth place with Tottenham. When you were playing Newcastle away, they were playing Sunderland. You had to come off injured after 28 minutes. What do you remember from that day, and what is that day like where you're playing, but you know there's another fixture which determines your destiny?
Probably I'm more optimistic like this because I lived it. I know how it feels. I know how you feel a few days before when you say, okay, we go to Newcastle, they have nothing to play for, we win, it is done, and the closer you are to the game, you think, wow, this is going to be a tough match, and then you might have an injury. We have 4 players that day that we might not be able to play, and we were pushed to try to play and be on that pitch, so anything can happen.
And what was it like for you coming off during that game and having to watch rather than play?
Well, I started, but I didn't have any training session. I had to go there. I played with some injections, and then I had to go out because I could not help the team after that no more.
And what do you take from that in terms of, I mean, will you have someone on Sunday keeping in touch, live with what's going on at Norwich? Do you tell the players at half time what's happening? How do you approach a challenge like Sunday where there's 2 things going on?
I think when you are playing away, it's a little bit more difficult. When you play at home, I'm sure our people is going to let us know very quickly what is happening.
And it can be a day for unlikely heroes, because that day it was Lauren Koscielny who scored a goal. I mean, how unlikely did that seem at the time? And you need something like that Sunday, don't you, as well?
Of course you need. And in order to win that match, we have to perform on a much higher level than what we did against Newcastle, that's for sure. And that's the first thing that we have to focus on, because we cannot affect in the other match.
And just finally for me, the stats are that Norwich have scored 1 goal in their last 5 league games. So you also need an Arsenal hero on the Norwich side, don't you?
Because they are keeping the goals for Sunday. That's what they've been doing.
Right. Mikel, I was looking at the squads, and we know Arsenal have got the youngest squad in average age. Is that something, I mean, Ferguson once famously said no one wins anything with kids. Is that something you reflect on, or do you think next year they'll be that much older, more experienced?
Well, they're not going to be kids for the rest of their lives. Now, next season, they're going to be more mature than they are this season. And you have to start somewhere with those kids. What we cannot say is that we want to use academy players and do that, but then when the moment something goes a little bit wrong, then we're not going to do anything with them. I'm so grateful for what they have done, what they have brought to the team and to the club, and especially in this moment. And we are going to stick with them and give them what they need, because they deserve that.
There's no dramatic change in your sort of philosophy and policy with regards to transfers?
It's all about the balance. So now we have cleared the deck, and now we have a squad balance that is much more like what we want and much more affordable than what we had before. And now we have to start to add the top quality pieces that they are not necessary 18, 19 or 20 years old. So we will do what it takes to get better in every department, not only at the age group this player, but in terms of the quality, in terms of the leadership, in terms of the goal threat of this team, the physicality of the team that we need to improve as well. So there are other areas.
And with regard to Sunday's match, fans can play a big part in not maybe getting too wound up about what's happening at Carrow Road, or transferring that to the pitch, as it were. You've commented on the relationship. Can they play a big part? And what's your message to them? Is it to enjoy Sunday and get the win, for the fans, rather
to
than
push and drive the team like they have been doing throughout the season? That has been phenomenal, and when they do that, the players become better and they are more confident, and our performance raises, which leads to winning football matches, which we've done pretty well this season, especially in our stadium.
Because we've seen, the pressure is actually, if you think about it now, on Tottenham, isn't it? Everyone expects them to get that 4th place, apart from maybe yourself and.
Well, we were in that position a few days ago, and we lost that opportunity, and now it's down to them to lose it.
Very close to the top 4. I think 1 point off 4th, 2 points off 3rd in the Europa League final, and that disappointment kind of led into the following season, and there were loads of issues over the summer. Are you concerned at all that the disappointment of the last 2 games will have any long-term impact on this team?
I don't think it will. It has to happen first. It might happen the contrary, we are in Champions League and it's a big boost for everybody and we go somewhere else. but hopefully not. I think as well that squad was very, very, very different to the actual squad in many sense.
I was going to ask you quickly about Bukayo. I think he's played 47 games now this season, club and country. He's clearly carried quite a lot of the burden. Are you concerned at all that he just needs a break and he's got 4 more England games coming up?
Well, he needs a break, that's for sure. He's played a lot of minutes this season and he played a lot of minutes that season. What do you expect from your important players to do so and have that availability and show the quality that Bukayo has shown consistently throughout the season? But obviously you have to bear in mind that at some stage he needs to rest, and that's something that we really need to think about the plans for him in the summer.
Will you talk to Gareth Southgate?
Yes.
Have you done so already?
We're going to do that, and we're going to talk to every manager that is responsible for our players, how they're thinking, show them what they've done, how we've done it, and what we expect them to do in the future as well. So everything has to be connected and related to the aim of protecting the player and as well getting the best out of the player.
Matt?
Update from Spurs, apparently it's not food poisoning, but Harry Kane's unwell, so plus and minuses there. A more serious question. With Spurs sacking their manager halfway through the season, United having a bad season, Newcastle coming with new money next year, is there a sense that this might have been a missed opportunity if you don't do it? In the same sense that when Arsenal didn't win the title, when Leicester did, that it's never been so good?
It will be for sure because we were there and mathematically it was possible and it was in our hands. So that feeling could be there if it happens, and it would take some time to take that dust off. But this is part of football, and you cannot live in what happened a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whether it's positive or negative, because it's not going to have any impact in the next week.
But next season it's going to be a lot harder, isn't it?
I don't know. I didn't expect the season before to be as it was, and 2 seasons before the way it was with COVID. I don't expect a season more difficult than 2 seasons ago and this season, to be fair. I don't. But I don't know.
Irrespective of where you finish the season, you're still going to be 24, 25 points behind the champions. We've lost 13 games again this season. It's still a huge gap, isn't there, between you and those top 2 teams?
A big gap, and that's what I said before, that the league doesn't lie, and you have to be very realistic the way you want to recruit and the way you're going to move forward, because that's the level that these guys have set. And we have lost many games. We have lost games, 5 games or 4 games playing with 10 men, which those teams they don't do. So there is a lot to learn.
I mean, 13 defeats in a season is a huge number. I mean, it's nowhere near what you can afford if you're going to be anywhere near the top 4.
Yeah, and that's the level and the challenge that we have in front of us.
And also, I mean, there's been this stats about if you concede the first goal, you very rarely come back and win. Is there a bit? I mean, it's not a mental weakness, but are the players slightly not, don't have the courage to go for it when they suffer a setback?
I don't think it's about courage. It's about our ability in order to do that. The players that we have to change the games and how we've been able to do that. And if we haven't been able to do that, it's because we haven't generated the chances or we haven't put the chances away. So it's a lot of factors there.
Nick?
Okay. We've seen over the season what this core of young players, young ambitious players, can do. Do you think that going forward, maybe beyond this summer, it's going to need Champions League football to keep them together and make sure their heads aren't turned or persuaded to go somewhere else?
Well, I don't know. With the players that we have come to the point where with 1 game to go, we are still competing with those teams that they have another different, very different profile of players to the one that we have. And if we want to continue like that, they have to evolve to become those players that they are playing in other clubs and making the differences that they make. Because at the end of the day, is how do you win football matches? Who wins the football matches? Is it the collective, is the individual, is the physicality, or is 2 players that they have the ability to unlock the game every time? And when you look at the top teams, there is no secrets. If you have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of them, then you're going to win more football matches. And it's about creating those players if you cannot afford to buy them. Simple as that.
And do you think that the type of target that you can get through the door in the summer, differs if you're in the Champions League or in the Europa League? Do you think that,
Sorry?
Do you think there'll be a difference in who you can bring in this summer, depending on where you finish?
Well, I think the market as well is going to have a big implication there. I don't know how the market is going to act, what the prices are going to be, and what we're going to be able to do. So, obviously, there is no question playing Champions League is easier to attract players, easier financially. So there are all pluses.
Gary? Okay, you said the difference in the wages is night and day. Can you explain maybe why you had to do that change in January to have the wage bill lower?
Why
you couldn't wait to the end of the season?
We've been doing it for 2 years. We've been doing that for 2 years.
So
So
in January you also did quite a lot to then...
because it's not, because we need a model that is sustainable, that has to be, we are attached to the Premier League rules and UEFA rules that has to be accomplished, and there are some restrictions there, and we want this club to be run in a sustainable way and at the same time be very ambitious. We have to understand that this is the framework to work.